Today, my role here is basically to present just some of the statistics that we have across the state. I'm going to highlight on the screens, on the slides, and you have a copy of this in your folder. You also have a copy in your folder of one of the documents around this on the state. So you have everybody on. It's a two-page, two-sided document. And then what we're going over today, which will be brief, basically it's just data. So how much fun can that be? And this is the header for that document. And basically we're just looking at districts, regional districts 11 and 12, since those are the ones that are primarily present today. I'm really not sure how to make this exciting because it is what it is. And there really isn't anything else, so bear with me. Okay, the first couple of slides are around in calendar year 2007, age of kids at the time of removal and what their disposition was at discharge. And so we got the kids that are still in care, reunification, adoption, independent living, guardianship, transfer to another agency, runaway, and then our total at the bottom. And this is District 11. As I understand it, the counties in District 11 would be, does that include Oglala, I believe? The counties around Oglala, and there's 4 of those. Okay, we're looking at Perkins, Keith, Arthur, Grant, Hooker, Thomas, McPherson, Logan, Lincoln. Okay, and that would be District 11. Judicial District 12 are the rest of them in the western. So these are the kids. We also have the age categories of 0 to 2, 3 to 5, and then 6 years and older. So it's 6 and everybody up to age 19 in that last category. So then here's the same chart for District 12. And this would be basically the panhandle then. When they talk about transfer to another agency, a lot of those kids are going to be like tribal court takes jurisdiction, or the tribe takes jurisdiction. Kelly, I can't remember, did we ask for just the 3As on this? I think it was all kids. Those little guys are going to be your 3As. The 0 to 3 and your 3 to 5s are for sure your 3As. That larger group, it's possible they're all of our kids. 3A are your abuse and neglect kids. The other adjudications that we may have would be 3B, which is status offender, and those are generally your older kids, and then our delinquents. We may have some 3Cs, which again are generally the older, over the age of 5. And 3C is a child that's been adjudicated based upon their serious mental health issues. Okay, so we'll just move along here. This chart is, again, calendar year 2007, talking about the age of the child at the time of the removal, the reason, or what they disposed to, what was their permanency, if you will, and then how many placements did they have. And actually, I mean, we talked about placements, and there are those isolated, I like to think isolated, those cases where we have kids, even at a very young age, that tend to move from placement to placement. As in the calendar year of 2007, it appears as though for the kids in the 0 to 2 range, they had an average number of placements of 2. And sometimes that occurs because when you remove a child that age, oftentimes you're doing that as a protective action, and it's not necessarily a planned placement, and so you may not have a lot of resources available right then to make that initial placement. And then when you find a relative or perhaps an absent parent surfaces that you've been able to locate, then you're able to make that second placement. And it appears as though we're doing pretty well in both Judicial District 11 and 12, making those placements, the average number of placements for those little guys at 2. So Okay, this one is age of the time of removal, the reason or the disposition at the end of the case, and then also their length of stay in months. So if you look at the second column on the 0 to 2, you'll see the average number of months that a child is in placement. And it stands to reason that the adoption disposition is going to be your longest length of time in placement. Federal standard requires, and Nebraska as a state is having difficulty with this, but the federal standard requires that we reach adoption within 24 months. And so we're working real hard with the case managers and with the teams with families and with the courts to try to get more of our kids to meet that federal standard. And this is just a chart with the age of the children in care on December 31st of 2007, and the number of kids in each of those categories. This is District 11 as of December 31st, 2007. Where were the kids placed in each of those different age groups? The one that under adoptive home, that's a little deceiving because we have quite a few kids that may be in homes that are willing to and are planning to and wanting to adopt. But until they meet the requirement for an adoptive home, we're not able to load that family as an adoptive home. So that one is a little bit deceiving. We have more kids that are most likely already in a permanency placement than the way it appears with the adoption number there. With an adoptive home, if they're not a relative, they need to be, first of all, they need to be licensed foster home. And then they need to go through, we strongly encourage, and unless there's some significant reason why a family can't, we encourage what we call Spalding training. And it's a training for adoptive parents specific to adoptive issues. And then we have an adoptive home study that needs to be completed and accepted, approved, if you will. That's basically it. Basically, it's similar. I mean, it's kind of based similar to our licensed foster home training, except they do a lot more work around issues that you have when you bring a kid into your home as a permanent situation. What are some of the issues you may have to deal with the child as they mature? Disclosure of, some of them are real little. They may not know who their biological parents are. How are you as an adoptive parent going to deal with those things when it comes up? What are the benefits or pros and cons of changing the child's name upon adoption? Things like that. Talk about mental health issues, resources that will be available to them.
And that training is available?
Yes. We have that training.
How long would it take them to accomplish that?
Well, the Spalding training we have twice a year. So every 6 months, basically, we have the opportunity for that.
How long is the race?
Is the training? I believe they do it on 2 Saturdays or something like that. It's 12 to 16 hours, I think. Something like that. Does anybody out there know for sure? It's similar to the licensing training in terms of its length and time. Right. If there's some reason that they weren't able to attend that one, we do provide exception, and we would not hold an adoption up because of that. Okay, that's District 11, and here's 12. Again, you got the same situation with the adoptive home. And we have the age of kids coming in as of December 31st with the length of stay in months in each district. These are the number of kids that were removed during the calendar year of 2007 in each of the categories, the age categories. And this one focuses around the reason for removal. What was the allegations or the maltreatment? or the related circumstances for that child's removal. And again, we have all three categories of age in both judicial districts. These are the kids that exited our care during the calendar year of 2007 by, again, age and the time of removal. Again, the number of kids served by calendar year, by age and time of removal and length of stay.